The UK's Financial Conduct Authority, or FCA, is not happy with Kim Kardashian. In case you haven't heard, the renowned crypto expert and purveyor of the micro thong had in April promoted an ERC-20 token called Ethereum Max to her 250 million followers on Instagram. To be fair to her, the post was correctly flagged as an ad. So, what's the problem? According to FCA head Charles Randall, there was plenty wrong. While speaking to the Cambridge International Symposium on Economic Crime a couple days ago, he reportedly criticized Kim for promoting a speculative digital token created a month before by unknown developers, according to the BBC. You see, Kim didn't really tell her followers that Ethereum Max has zero links to the more well-known and well-established Ethereum cryptocurrency. Now, Randall couldn't say if this particular token was a scam, but he points out social media influencers are routinely paid by scammers to help them pump and dump new tokens on the back of just pure speculation. Some influencers promote coins that turn out simply to not exist at all. Which brings me to the main point of this video. We need to regulate influencers. What about them do we need to regulate, you ask? Everything. Every damn thing. And I'm not talking about those being paid to shill potentially dodgy investments, though they are aplenty, especially in this economy. Even before COVID forced us to shop more online, we already had irresponsible people peddling health and beauty products, promising dubious benefits. Let's not forget Niloufar and her magical banana drink. And then there's self-promoted Prime Ministerial candidate for GE15, Alif Shukri, and his not waterproof mask. Useless mask aside, his D-Herbs Holdings was actually fined 11 grand for misleading advertisements on his products, saying his virgin juice could boost the immune system. And the product is still being sold, by the way. But he is just one of the many horror stories about supplements gone wrong. People suffering from cancer, kidney disease, desperately trusting stories on the internet about how a milkshake could cure them, only to find it's full of either steroids or unregulated medication. The fact is, media companies are regulated. Advertising companies are regulated. There are consequences for both if caught lying. Therefore, influencers, an arguable hybrid of both these things, should be held not only accountable, but responsible for everything that they deem to slap #blessed on. Consider this metric. Niloufar has 8.5 million followers on Instagram. That is half of what CNN, one of the biggest news networks in the world, has at 15.7 million followers. I admit it would be an uphill task regulating them, and a lot of governments are still trying to figure out how. In America, it falls to the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, which is like our Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs. But even they are finding it hard with the emergence of micro-influencers. Honestly, it's like trying to play whack-a-mole. There is this article in Hype.my which points out that self-regulation may be the way to go, the best way to keep bad actors out of the space. Please. It is like expecting animals to regulate themselves at the zoo, and I don't think tigers care much about what's fair for the antelope. No, as UK's Advertising Standards Authority puts it, when a consumer sees an ad, it should be obvious to them that they're looking at an ad. It should be mandatory for influencers to declare it upfront, multiple times, in an obvious place, and not buried under a mountain of hashtags. Information about the said product or service has to be clear. How the influencers benefit from them has to be clear, and in some cases whether the ad itself has been doctored to show the product in a better light. And the government must be ready to name and shame. In the UK, the ASA does just this. It puts them up on their website for 3 months, any influencers who have been found not declaring a paid promotion. They are subject to spot checks, and further action will be taken if they are found to be in constant breach of the rules. Secondly, influencers should also be on the hook in case what they are promoting is a sham or causes harm. And even if they're not technically selling anything, the government needs to keep a closer watch on what these people are saying. For instance, this New York Times report earlier this year, It said a London-based PR agency with ties to Russia was secretly offering to pay social media stars to share misleading anti-vaccine content, to say that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine is deadly and that regulators and the mainstream media are covering it up. Actions should have consequences. If I'm on the road and I ignore the rules, I hurt one person, I go to jail because of my actions. And that is just one car. Influencers have an effect on thousands of people. People who trust them because they seem like your friend, which causes people to develop what is called parasocial relationships with them, where people have invested their time, their emotion in someone who likely doesn't know they exist. So like me behind a wheel, why shouldn't these people who hold sway over thousands not also be accountable as well? So none of these measly 5-figure fines. I am talking heavy penalties. And yes, possible jail time, just like what media and advertising companies get. Overkill, you say? Nope. As much as it pains some boomers out there, influencers are not going anywhere. The influencer market is expected to be worth $15 billion by 2022, 3% of what global advertising was back in 2020. Not a bad slice of an almost $600 billion pie. And we can't rely on self-regulation. We can't rely on common sense either. Otherwise, we wouldn't be buying crypto tokens just because a Kardashian is promoting it, or believing that certain vaccines are better because some fast-talking Yahoo on YouTube is telling me so. Influencers are already taxed. Regulating them is just the next logical step. Just saying.